In this video, we're going to be looking at negative and fractional indices. Okay, so first of all, negative indices. Now you're given this formula in your logbook on page 21. Now, you see this when your base is a whole number or else when you have a base as a fraction. So when you have a whole number or just one term like x here as a base, you put it under 1, so you divide by 1, then you change the power to positive. So we'll look there at the first one of 5 to the power of minus 2. So we only have one base is 5, so we put it under 1, then change the power to positive, so then 1 over 5 squared, and 5 squared is 25. So 1 over 25. Same now with 2 to the power of minus 3. So we put the base under 1, then change the power to positive. So then we have 1 over 2 to the power of 3, and 2 to the power of 3, that is 8. So 1 over 8. Then if you have x to the power of minus 1, so we put it under 1, change the power to positive, so 1 over x to the power of 1. But we usually write that as just 1 over x. Okay, then on the right hand side then, you can see we have fractions. So if it's fractions then, we just flip the base upside down and change the power to a positive. So for 2 over 5 to the power of minus 1, that would be 5 over 2 to the power of 1, and that will just be 5 over 2. Because 5 to the power of 1 is 5, and 2 to the power of 1 is also just 2. Now, the next one, 3 over 2 to the power of minus 2, so let's flip the base upside down. So that would be 2 over 3 to the power of 2 now. So it'll be 2 squared over 3 squared. So then that would be 4 over 9. Because 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. Okay, now we'll have a look at fractional indices. Now, the first type of fractional indices are just when you see one fraction. So like if you see to the power of a half, that means the same as square root. Or if you see to the power of a third, that means the third root or the cube root. So the first one there, 25 to the power of half, that's the same as the square root of 25. And the square root of 25 is 5. Now the next one then, so 27 to the power of a third, that's the same as cube root of 27. So you're looking for the number that you multiply itself by 3 times to get 27. Now that would be 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 is equal to 27. If you're unsure, just use your calculator, but the more you practice these, the easier they will become. Like this one here, we have 32 to the power of a fifth, so that is the same as fifth root of 32. Now the fifth root of 32, that would be 2, because we were looking for the number that we multiplied by itself 5 times to get 32, and 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 32. Okay. Now, if you see these types that are a bit more tricky, so just follow what they tell you to do in the logbook. Whatever is your denominator, so the bottom number in the fraction, goes to the left, and then whatever's as your numerator on top, that goes outside the bracket then on the right. So with this one here, I'm going to have 4 here, and then 16 all to the power of 3. So the first step, I need to find the fourth root of 16. So what multiplies by itself 4 times to get 16? Now that has to be 2. So we have 2 then to the power of 3. So 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 by itself 3 times. That is 8. We'll do the same with the bottom one. So at 125 to the power of 2/3. So 3 goes on the left. Then all to the power of 2. Now, so the third root of 125, so what number multiplies by itself 3 times to get 125? Now that would be 5. And then so we have 5 squared, so 5 times 5 is 25. Again, if you're unsure, put it into your calculator to check. Okay, now here we're going to combine the negative indices with fractional indices. So the first rule with negative indices is, if you have a fraction, we flip the base upside down, change the power to positive. So let's do that with the first one here. So it's a negative indice, so let's flip it upside down. So we have 25 over 36, all now to the power of a half. So you can see the power is changed to positive. Now, you should know the power of a half is the same as square root. So you have square root of 25 over the square root of 36. So that would be equal to 5 over 6. Now, next one's the same. So let's flip it upside down. So we'll have 27 over 125. Change that power now to positive. Now, power of 2/3. So I'm going to raise 27 to the power of 2/3 and do the same with 125. So remember, the 3 goes on the left. Same here. With both of these then to the power of 2. So third root of 27. So what multiplies by itself 3 times to get 27? So that would be 3. Then third root of 125. So we saw that in the previous example. So that is 5. Then square them. So 3 squared is 9. 5 squared then is 25. Okay, so 2 more examples here. So the first one there, 27 over 1000 to the power of minus 2 over 3. So it's a negative indice, so let's flip it upside down to 1000 over 27. Now change the power to positive, so 2 over 3. So remember, the 3 goes on the left, same with the bottom one, and all now to the power of 2. So now, the third root of 1000, so it multiplies by itself 3 times to get 1000. That would be 10. And then the third root of 27, so that is going to be 3. Because 3 times itself 3 times gets 27. And 10 squared is 100. 3 squared is 9. So there's our answer. Okay, next one. So again, negative indices, so let's flip it upside down. And so 9 over 4, change that power to positive. Okay, so the number at the bottom now goes to the left. So 2, 9, 2, 4, all to the power of 3. Now, when you see the 2 here, so that just means the square root. So like the second root, so the square root of 9, we know is 3. Square root of 4, we know that that's 2. Since 3 cubed is 27, 2 cubed then is 8. And that's it. Now, if you're struggling with these, use your calculator and see can you work backwards, because it does take a good bit of practice to get the hang of these.